I was listening / watching part of a podcast last night. It was pretty good. In there, Alex Hormozy said that he thinks the meaning of life is to learn. Someone asked him, what is the meaning of life? He doesn't believe in that question. He's not a Christian or anything, but he's like, I think if there is an answer to that question, it'd be to learn. I don't agree. I think it's to add value.
Sure.
I think that's what Jesus did. If you just look at Jesus, if he's the model, that's what Jesus did. He added value in a multitude of ways. We can get into that sometime.
Yeah.
But bottom line, I thought that was good. The meaning of life is to learn. He elaborated on it. It was pretty good. But then I was thinking, well, what's the purpose of learning? Imagine Jesus, right? Up until he was 30, he was probably learning a lot, right? Remember, he was in the temple when he was 12 years old, hearing and asking questions. But the reason why Jesus was learning so much is because God had a purpose for him later on, and Jesus would use all the things that he learned, and he would use all those experiences to help other people, right? So understand that I think that is one of the purposes of life, is to learn so that you can add value to other people and share your experiences. That's what all of your school teachers do. You that are in school or have been in school, they learned a lot of things, and then they were able to imply their wisdom and share things that they've learned with you so that your life could be better. Does that make sense? Yeah. So that's a thought. Understand that I think that's part of the purpose of life, is to learn so that you have stories to tell. You have more that you can use to help other people. That's something that I've learned. I'll also say this. It's only in the moment. This is, I don't know if it's a quote or a paraphrase from the podcast, but he said, it's only in the moment that it feels bad. Mm-hmm. If it's going to be funny eventually, you might as well see it as being funny now. And that actually was kind of comforting, because right now, I'm going through a very unique situation with my health where I feel like it's probably worse than ever, just because of a bunch of treatment that I'm doing. That's to some degree why I was late and I look like I just woke up. But to me, it's I know in the future I'm going to look back and be yeah, I remember early 2025, when you're going through all these things because of the treatment you're doing. That was nothing. That was crazy, but man, we're so past that, and it's just going to be a story to tell. Mm-hmm. It's just going to be something that I learned a lot of lessons, and I'll be yeah, that was crazy, because I know that I've actually said that about other times, difficult times in my life. I could tell you specific events where in the moment I was this is the worst thing ever. I don't know if I'm going to make it through this. But then now I'm yeah, it's just a really good story to tell. And it's something that made me stronger, and it's something I learned a lot from. You learn the most from the most difficult things. Yeah. So the darker it is, the more that you can learn from that. It can seem unfortunate, but that's just how the world works. If you're going through a lot of stuff, it just means that there's probably more lessons to learn. That's what I'm trying to tell myself as I'm going through what I'm going through. Just a little perspective shift that I'm trying to have. And then, bad things mean you'll have a good story. To me, that's kind of helpful. And I've actually seen that in my life a couple of times where I've been through certain things that are really tough, and now it's just a good story and something that kind of gives me confidence too, because I'm man, I went through that really difficult thing. So now I have more confidence to navigate life and not be afraid to fight future dragons, so to speak, if that makes sense. So yeah, I would understand that I think part of the meaning of life is to learn. So make sure that as you are going through good times or bad times, you're trying to learn everything you can so that you can upgrade your character, be more like Christ, okay?
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, in order to add value, you have to be an individual that's, receiving value, right? You can't give something that you don't have. So you have to be someone that's receiving value and adding value to yourself. But you do that by learning, and I think that it's a cycle. Right? As you add value to yourself, as you learn, you add value to yourself, and then you're able to give that value, and it just kind of keeps going. So that's really good, and that's what Jesus did, like he said. For you don't hear his first 30 years. You don't hear much. You just hear what you hear is this. Actually, you hear the time he's in the temple, and then it's right at the end of that chapter. You hear, and Jesus grew in wisdom, in stature, physically, in wisdom, and with favor with God and man. And so what did he do till he grew, he learned. So that's really good.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah, if Jesus didn't learn so much and wasn't so focused, he wouldn't have done as much when he was in a time of ministry, which was 3.5 years or so.
Yeah. No, it's true though. We think, oh, he's God, he can do it. He put himself in a human body with a human brain with all of its inability. And, you know, like, I'm just saying, like, God to man, like, there's a huge difference, right? So, yeah, he put himself through that.